fourth thing that we do for our kids to help them to learn to have good relationships with each other and eventually become best friends is we give them opportunities to work together and we give them opportunities to play together. Now, playtime is easier because we give them a lot of free play. So that's not so much of a big deal. But we also give them opportunities to do jobs together. We do things as a family. Sometimes we'll have a garden day and we're all gardening together. Sometimes we will have a spring cleaning and everyone in the house is expected to help. Everyone has chores they do to contribute, and sometimes their chores are one that they have to work on with a sibling. And I assign those deliberately so that my kids can learn how to work together with each other. And quite often we've found too that and sharing rooms can help with this too, because you have to work with someone else to learn how to share a space effectively. And it's okay to switch things around too. You may find that some kids, their relationship is not improved by spending more time together or by doing certain jobs together, and so it's better to assign them separately. But we do create these opportunities where they do need to work with each other or where they do need to accomplish something together. And that does tend to build relationships. And then, of course, we spend time doing fun things together as a family where everyone's involved. So creating those opportunities to work together and to play together, it helps them to build relationships that are connected based on shared positive experiences. We accomplished this task together, or we did this fun thing together. Those kinds of experiences bond kids and families together. The fifth thing that we are very careful about is we don't allow any kind of triangulation. This goes along with the conflict resolution. One of the major things that people tend to do when they haven't been taught how to resolve conflict appropriately is they talk about what their problem is with another person, with everyone except that person. And they try to get someone else to get to work on that person instead of just going and directly communicating it with that person. We don't permit this in our family either. If our kids are having a problem with one of their siblings, or even with their dad or I, if they're having a problem with someone, we expect that they will go to that person and try to resolve it first before they ask for help. Now, this takes wisdom too, because they're kids and so they're learning. So sometimes they will come straight to us, and that's fine. And we remind them, did you say this is what you wanted? Did you communicate what you were trying to do? And especially when they're younger, but sometimes if they're just emotionally flooded, they didn't communicate it in any way that was appropriate. And so we start there. But we encourage our kids to communicate to the person they need to and not to talk about it with other people. And then once it's been handled, we encourage them not to mention it again to other people. And I feel like this is a really important part of helping people feel safe in their relationships, that they're not going to have something they did that was a mistake or that was not good repeated to other people who it doesn't involve. Now, sometimes kids do need to have coaching or help with a situation where they've tried to communicate something that's not working, and so they do need us as parents to step in there and help them with that. And so, of course, we're ready to do that. But I feel like it's a really important part of helping siblings have good relationships, is teaching them to communicate with the person who the problem is with and not with everybody else before they get there. The last one that I feel like is really important, and I'm grateful to John over at Whole Parent for reminding me about this one, but it's do not compare your siblings to each other. Just don't. And it can be really hard, and kids naturally compare themselves to other people around them. So it's super important as parents that you don't compare them. And this can be comparing in good and bad ways. Like sometimes we make this only about well, this person does things so much better than you. That's not the only way we compare kids. Sometimes it's this person always getting a compliment for this particular thing and this child never getting a compliment for it. And so it's a fine line, and you have to figure out how to do it well. But it's super important to communicate to each of your kids regularly and verbally, I love you and I'm proud of you. And that needs to be said to every one of your kids regularly. by both parents. You need to verbally say it. And you may think they know, but they do need to hear it a lot for it to sink in. And making sure that we praise good things we see in them, and making sure that we don't do it in a way that is a comparison to themselves, to someone else, or to a sibling especially. So that's another really important way that we found that helps our kids build friendships. And we're really thankful that our kids generally get along pretty well. And it's taken a lot of communication and a lot of work to teach them how to communicate well, to teach them how to resolve conflict well. But it has paid off in having kids who have good relationships with each other and who know how to have good relationships with people outside the family.